G'day guys, Mac here with the F Circle, and today, in getting started in the Horus Heresy, we are looking at the Raven Guard Legion. The Raven Guard. They are not a common one, probably because their colour scheme's just a pain in the ass to paint. Black is boring, it's hard to highlight and shade, and get it so that it looks really nice, without it just looking like a black undercoat. Generally, I find, having painted many thousand points of Raven Guard, that you kind of need to use like grey or blue highlights on them. If I were to do them ever again, I'd probably use teal. I think that would work really well, and I got that idea off Mike Cantrell over at the Eye of Horus, because he did something like that for a chaplain recently for his Emperor's Children, but the teal on black is a really nice combo. Anyway, getting a little bit sidetracked. The Raven Guard. They are, I would consider, the second strongest legion in 30k. Yeah, that's right. In a game with Space Wolves that can run and charge in the same turn, where Thousand Suns exist, obviously the strongest legion, where Ultramarines give morale to their allies, where Iron Warriors have this insatiable, ridiculous levels of firepower. Why do I think the Raven Guard are the fucking second strongest legion? Well, call me biased, but I never lost a game with Raven Guard. Not against Imperial Knights, not against nothing. They are rock solid, because while they don't have all the raw buffs that other legions do, things like rage when they charge or AP2 power weapons, they have the buffs where it counts, and you can outmaneuver and outplay so many different opponents. Anyway, let's get into why. First of all, by wing and talon. All infantry except Terminators gain Infiltrate and Fleet, so you can outflank when you're coming on from reserves, which, you know, handy. Jump Packs, Bikes, and Terminators, on the other hand, get Furious Charge instead. How does this play out for you? Well, some people might think, oh yeah, the 40k Raven Guard route with Jump Packs, Furious Charge, that's a good combo. It's not really. It seems good on the surface, but you gotta remember, your jump troops are not really much better than the other guys. So instead, my suggestion would be bikes and jet bikes. I find that they usually get the best combo. I used to run a squad of jet bikes with my Raven Guard because they were rock solid with, you know, Furious Charge. You have an interesting rule called Flesh over Steel, which is you may not take more tanks than infantry units. It's never a problem. Never been a thing. If you use certain rights of war with the Raven Guard, you may get reduced to as little as one heavy support, but again, in general, it's not an issue. Your infantry are your strength. You do have two interesting rights of war, but as usual, we won't go into them right now. Instead, we'll move on to Wargear. So, you have the Raven's Talons. Anyone who has lightning claws in the army, single or a pair, you can upgrade them so that they get rending and mastercrafted. It's nice, you know, it's nice. It's not a must take. Also, you have Improvisers, which gain night vision, but your blind tests are taken at Initiative 1. Easy thing to do with Improvisers, just put them on Legion Heavy Support squads, because pretty much no one else will ever make use of the things. Camellia Line. Any independent character can take it. You get stealth. Can't use it with jump packs, Terminator armor, bikes, jet bikes, that kind of thing. You can give it to Forge Lords, and in fact it's pretty much a must take for a lot of characters. I'd give it to like Forge Lords for their retinues, Praevian consuls because their automata can benefit from them, Primus Medicaes, Master of Signals, yeah, basically any of those sort of things. All rock solid with it. Now, for specialist units, there's 3 units. Firstly, the Darkwing Gunship. It's a Storm Eagle, and you gain Outflank and Stealth, and you get 3+ Jink thanks to that stealth. You come with a Twin-Linked Heavy Bolter in the front, you get these weird Strength 4 AP5 blind concussive blasts instead of the normal missiles. I find this unit to be crap. It costs more points than a regular Storm Eagle, it has less transport capacity, and overall it's not worth it. Yeah, my suggestion as someone who played probably the better part of 50 or 60 games with my Raven Guard, don't take it. It's crap. it's one of those things that's like cool on the surface, and yeah, it could be fluffy, but I sort of have a cutoff for what I think is fluffy when it starts getting above 350 points, and that's where this thing kind of sits when it's kitted out. Yeah, it's not worth it to you. You're in super heavy territory at that point. On the other hand, the Mordedian Strike Squad, brilliant. They're an elite's choice, and these are like recon meets veterans. So you get a recon squad, they got +1 ballistic skill, they have implacable advance, so they're scoring. You get stealth, you get scout, and you're going to infiltrate them because, Raven Guard, it's a thing. You can take a Rhino or a Darkwing Storm Eagle as your dedicated transport, which, yeah, again, not a big fan of it. It's a lot of points to waste. You're going to infiltrate, so it's not a problem. So, interesting thing, you actually cost 10 points more than a Legion Recon squad, which, hey, that's pretty handy. That said, you're not generally going to run a lot of Legion Recon squads, no matter how cool they sound on paper, because you've got these guys, and your normal tactical marines are quite cheap and fill out those slots nicely. They do have some interesting rules though when it comes to Wargear, because once in a game, they can choose to basically twin link all their weapons and give them rending, which improves your sniper rending by 1 if you do have it, but everyone can take either sniper rifles, shotguns, or combi weapons. In fact, they must take either one of those things, or 1 in 3 can upgrade to a missile launcher with suspensor web or a special weapon. The missile launcher is a solid choice. If I were kitting them out, I would say go for maybe combi flamers or combi melters, because they are ridiculously strong with them. Good luck charging a Mordedian squad which has 10 twin-linked flamers and rending, if they choose to use their one-shot super attack. Also, don't forget that they are armed with close combat weapons, so they actually have 2 attacks each base, which kind of handy. You join the right unit to the squad, they can be very, very strong. I mean, they're already ballistic skill 5, and they have all these fantastic weapons. Everything that is good about veteran tactical squads, Mordedian do better. Now you also have a specialist close combat unit, the Dark Fury Assault Squad, and they're a fast attack, kind of like Vanguard veterans, normal sort of, quantities as well, like Invictus, Suzerain, that kind of thing. Take a 5 to 10 man unit, they all have lightning claws, in fact they're all twin Raven's Talons, which are the Mastercrafted Rending Lightning Claws, Leader's Ballistic Skill, Weapon Skill 5, what else? He has Artificer Armor, the squad's Sergeant, but the squad themselves doesn't. They do have a 5+ cover save if they come in by Deep Strike, and they get +1 initiative on the charge. And yeah, Furious Charge, it might stack up, but generally too many points. Way too many points. So yeah, they're good for what their points are. I can't justify them. I've never been able to justify them. So yeah, cool unit though. Look bloody cool. Make a command squad out of them or something, and that would be cool. Again, they're points efficient, but they're still points expensive. I wouldn't go to them, especially when you consider the sort of things they may fight out there, like Palatine Blades will absolutely run these guys into the ground, Red Butchers will destroy them. Yeah, obviously you're fast enough to try and stay away from those units. I still wouldn't make them the first point of call. You also have some interesting special characters, but as always, we're not going to go into that. Anyway, at this point in the show, let's look at some models. Raven Guard Shadow Captain Corvidae. this, I think, is a good base model for the Raven Guard. Taking the Thunderhammer, probably not the wisest choice. Solid weapon, but I would instead use his model, swap the arms for something more useful. Paragon Blade, Boarding Shield, that kind of thing. Maybe get rid of the backpack, Combat Shield. Lots of different ways you can kit him out, but he is stylized enough that he makes a really good Raven Guard Praetor or HQ character. So, Shadow Captain Corvidae, nice, solid choice. Of course, the Legion Champion and Master of Signal. The Master of Signal is the one you really want here, whether you want to play him as Strike Captain Alberex Maln, who's one of your special characters, or whether you want to use him as a regular Master of Signals. He just helps out by increasing your ballistic skill, as well as sort of other passive buffs that you can give out to the army, that orbital bombardment, providing line of sight for units. Not essential. In fact, if you didn't want to go for the infantry route, a Damocles Command Rider will probably be even better for the army, due to the +1 or -1 to reserve rolls that you're choosing. Now we've done the sort of token HQs, let's get into the technical nuts and guts. A Tech Marine, a Master of the Forge. Why would you take this in a Raven Guard army? Well, my friend. Give him a retinue of servitors, because you can. Now give him rad grenades, because you can. Now upgrade that squad of servitors so they all have missile launchers firing rad missiles. Congratulations, you have a unit which now fires Strength 4 AP3 Fleshbane Radphage weapons. What this boils down to is essentially small blast templates, and every time they cause a wound on a model, and that model fails their armor save, if they're not killed by it, they drop their toughness for the rest of the game by -1. 4 of these versus Angron, these will win. That is a horrifying thought, isn't it? These are brilliant at breaking up blocks of infantry, things like Palatine Blades. Won't work as well on things like Invictus Suzerain, because Invictus Suzerain, 2+ armor saves, rerollable. They'll tank it. Stone Gauntlet Imperial Fists, on the other hand, maybe toughness 5, may all have big boarding shields, but they will get creamed by it. Mechanicum, Thanatar, actually not the Thanatar, because it's 2+ armor save, but definitely the Castellax, that kind of thing. This will obliterate them. You'll not only hurt them, but you'll drop their average toughness down to 6 at least for the unit, which will be a benefit to you later on if you hit them with, say, Strength 7 weaponry like autocannons. It'll actually win them on a 3 now, not a 4. Power Fist will get better against them, all that kind of thing. Brilliant unit, and under 200 points. Yeah, really good, right? You can also give the Tech Marine a Augury Scanner, which means that if anyone tries to infiltrate, good luck with that, and against certain reserve rolls you get to intercept them with the squad, which is pretty funny. Say the enemy comes down and jumps out of a drop pod with a squad of veteran tactical marines think they're going to eat you, and then you eat them. Yeah, always funny. Always funny to do that kind of shit to them. And for extra lols, give a conversion beamer to the Forge Lord, so he can pump out one of those shots to join the rest, which again, pretty funny. Do remember, Raven Guard, Legion tactics, you can infiltrate the squad. So find a nice bell tower somewhere on the table, put the 200 point squad up there, and watch your opponent spend like 400-500 points trying to kill them, while they earn their points back each turn. Bloody hilarious tactic. As for upgrade packs, well, there's 2. There's a 40k upgrade pack, which is the one on screen right now. Not bad. I would use this for like command squads or maybe veteran tactical squads. And you could probably combine it with the 30k one, which also is pretty neat. The 2 of them together, very similar style, but one has like the purity seals, one doesn't. Hence, I think purity seals probably work better for the command squad, Oath of Moment, as well as like all the little floral wreath crests on the helmets, and the more stylized shoulder pad pauldrons. But yeah, no, both upgrade kits, pretty minimalist, but they do look nice. Of course, speaking of veterans, Legion veteran tactical squads, really strong in the Raven Guard, especially armed with things like combi melters. Go for tank hunting with these guys. Again, not everyone is smart enough to use Armored Ceramite on certain tanks, especially not Dreadnoughts, so they're brilliant Dreadnought hunters because a lot of people won't spend the 20 points on a Dreadnought for Armored Ceramite. It's a lot of points for something that rarely is used. At least a squad of 5, probably a squad of 10 of these. Upgrade them with some nice Raven Guard upgrades just to make them look extra pretty, and yeah, combi melters. Combi melters, because why wouldn't you? Speaking of combi weapons, the combi flamers that you get in the pack, put them on some more Deviant. Yes, you don't have to go with the rifle upgrade, don't take the sniper rifles, you're wasting the more Deviant potential. Now, give them combi flamers or combi melters or combi plasmas, they'll be excellent. Another fun fact, if you do choose to give them sniper rifles or magnetize them at the hand so they can take the sniper rifles or whatever special weapon you want, you can run them as a Legion reconnaissance squad. Nothing stopping you from doing that down the line. Now, some other units that we actually have access to as the Raven Guard. Now, another unit that we have access to as the Raven Guard is the Raven Guard Legion Contemptor Dreadnought. Always take a Contemptor. In the case of the Raven Guard, you will actually struggle with this unit to keep up with the rest of the army unless you pod it somehow, whether you take a Rite of War, or whether you use like an Anvilus or a Legion Dreadnought drop pod. That said, can be good at the ranged fire support as a Mortis with twin autocannon or twin Furies assault cannon, not that you really need it for that. Generally, I would consider giving it a chain fist power fist combo and using it just to punch holes in things. Punch lots of holes in things. It will give you the close combat prowess that this army pretty much lacks. Now, another unit you won't see very often but works really well in the Raven Guard, Destroyer squads with jump packs. Expensive unit. They will get updated and their rules will get changed soon. The Blood Angels are getting a specialist destroyer unit for their Legion in an upcoming book, in Angelus. And that's more the way they want to head with the Destroyers. The Destroyers don't quite work how they want currently, I've heard, so that they'll be subject to change. For the better, I'll add. So you're not going to lose out with the change, but right now, still a very strong unit with the Raven Guard. I used to take 2 10-man units with Rad Missiles and Phosphex Bombs. Now, don't get all the Phosphex Bombs for them. Strength 5, AP2, very strong weapon. One of the little intricacies about Phosphex Bombs is you throw them where they land, you can actually make them scatter onto more models within a couple of inches, which is, you know, pretty handy. Crawling Fire, Lingering Death, all that. Special rules, lots of special rules come into play with the Raven Guard and their weapons. Now, you've got the same Rad Missiles on these guys that you can put on that Forge Ward and his Servitors. Very strong weapon. You can come down from Deep Strike with these guys, you can get accurate, reliable Deep Strikes, which is very handy, or you can start them in the back line while you infiltrate the rest of your army in, move these guys up behind them. Target saturation. One of the best things about the Raven Guard is because of that mass infiltration, the enemy usually deploys really conservatively, and you can sort of have your way when it comes to deployment. You just say, yeah, I'm going to infiltrate pretty much everything. And we'll watch the other guy just scratch his head about, fuck, what do I do? Yeah, these guys come in. So if someone wants to charge them, great. They're at -1 toughness because, hey, you're destroyers and you've got Rad Missiles and Rad Grenades especially. And if they let you charge them, well, your jump infantry in the Raven Guard, you get Furious Charge. So you can drop other Marines down to toughness 3, you get 3 attacks per model on the charge, and you're going to be at strength 5. That's 4s to hit, 2s to wound, with many attacks. So, very solid unit. I do suggest at least 10 with jump packs. It's going to cost you in points, like you're talking 300 odd points here, nearly 400. But so very worth it, especially when they come down with an accurate deep strike thanks to Elvarex Moan, or thanks to a Damocles Command Rhino. Deep strike these guys accurately, throw a couple of Phosphex bombs onto like a Terminator specialist unit and just laugh as they burn in crispy green fire. The Raven Guard Task Force. Yep. Beaky Marine upgrades on Mark IV armor. Looks fine, but you don't need it. You can just go for a regular Betrayal at Calc box. It's a good box and it'll give you all the power armor you need to get your army started. Not much to say. Just take a few squads of tactical marines, 150 points a squad, nice basic bitch squads, infiltrate them in, 30 marines within 18 inches of the enemy, walk forward in the first turn, run in the first turn, get within that 12 inches, and then declare a Fury of the Legion the second turn on the enemy who didn't worry about it because they were more afraid of the scarier units in your army. Watch them change their mind when 30 tactical marines or Fury of the Legion them at once. Yep. That will work. Now the Storm Eagle. #1 transport of choice. Put your destroyers in it, or put in Terminators. Doesn't really matter what you put in it. You could even put your Contemptors in it if you want them to come on into the middle of the enemy army. Very strong in the Raven Guard, because it just synergizes so well with them. This is something here that will kill other flyers, and it can transport troops. It gives you options, versatility, and allows you to, again, further those tactics you have as the Raven Guard. Maybe you don't want to infiltrate all your infantry this game, so maybe chuck a few in the Storm Eagle. I had a game once with the Raven Guard. Was actually a 40k game, but back when 40k and 30k played kind of similar. And I had to play an opponent who was fielding a lot of Plague Zombies of Nurgle. I stacked all my forces up, put them inside the Storm Eagle, and then flew rings around his army for 6 turns, blasting the crap out of it with the Whirlwind missile launchers on the back, the 2 missile launchers, Strength 5, AP4 Blast, or Large Blast, and targeting things like Obliterators with the plasma cannons and multi-melters until he pretty much had no army left. And then I deployed my infantry onto the ground, because that's how you win games. Just use some common sense. For other fast attack choices, there's of course the Javelin. Javelin's, again, good unit for the Raven Guard. They have the speed to keep up with them, the outflanking, that kind of thing. Very handy. You've got good bonuses to reserves as well as Raven Guard, so consider using this sort of unit. Adds a little bit of stronger firepower. On top of that, Legion Scimitar Pattern Jet Bikes. Oh, so strong. Take them as a heavy support choice, take them with multi-melters, or plasma cannons, or Volkite culverins. So strong, because they have Furious Charge if they assault, they have 2 attacks each thanks to having a close combat weapon, and yeah, they also have that awesome firepower as Raven Guard. Very strong. On top of that, why not take some plasma cannons? Why not take a squad, or in some cases 2 squads of 5 plasma cannons? Maybe a squad of las cannons or multi-melters. You see, you have infiltrate, don't you? So don't bother deploying these in your deployment zone at the start of the game. Just like with the Tech Marine with the rad missile rocking servitors, find a nice bell tower, set up shop. Fantastically strong. I've done it many times where I've found a nice bit of terrain on the board with a good line of sight and just set up a 5-man plasma cannon squad in there through infiltration. Watch the enemy try and deal with that. They will not ignore it. They will expend a lot of points to kill it if they can. Very fun tactic to use with multi-melters because you can infiltrate to 18 inches away from someone. And if they're in a vehicle, you can infiltrate the vehicle because rules as written. Pretty funny. Lastly, decals. Pretty solid decal sheet. I prefer the old decal sheet for the Raven Guard in some ways, and I like this in other ways. That said, good decal sheet. And some etched brass. So, let's go over all of that mumbo jumbo I just sprouted again. Shadow Captain Corvidae as the basis, at least his torso, for your HQ. This will give you something that's very characterful and stands out in the army. Legion Champion and Master of Signal. A Tech Marine in Mark III armor, or Mark IV armor, I just prefer the Mark III one. run him with servitors using rad missile launchers. Raven Guard upgrades for your veterans. Veterans themselves, of course. Combi weapons for the veterans. A Raven Guard Legion Contemptor Dreadnought. Always take a Contemptor Dreadnought. Destroyer Squad with jump packs. Keywording with jump packs. They're not bad without, but they're very good with. Mordedian Strike Squad, because they are just brutal, one of the strongest units in the game. Raven Guard Task Force. Again, you can just buy the generic Games Workshop one, you don't need all the Raven Guard upgrades. The Storm Eagle Gunship, because again, very strong. Try not to use it as a Darkwing because you're pissing points away. Javelin Attack Speeders with missile launchers. Scimitar Jet Bikes. Again, go for the heavy weapon option. So, actual heavy support squad. And of course, Legion heavy support squads. Decals or etched brass, depending on your flavour. And of course, there's other vehicle, Rhino upgrades, that kind of thing. Wow, what a lot to get through. Raven Guard, again, I think the second strongest Legion in the Heresy, because you have just all these options of deployment and all these buffs for infantry where, yeah, you're no better than other infantry, but you can throw people off their game. They do silly things like castle up in the corner and just give you the board to do with as you wish. You always will. The only thing that will come close to you is the Alpha Legion, and if they use their mutable tactics to try and match you, they're wasting their abilities. They will not outdo you in an infiltration war, because you're still going to have things like that Furious charge up on them. So, yeah, Raven Guard, bloody strong. It's that Mordedian. Those Mordedian are just the most terrifying thing if used wisely, and infiltrating heavy squads, I mean. Jesus. Oh, man, some people, Cat especially, co-host on this channel, has suffered from me doing that tactic. Infiltrating multi-melters near his knights, always funny, or even just tactical support squads with melter guns infiltrated near something, or, yeah, just talk about brutal. Anyway, make it the outer circle. Any thoughts, questions, that kind of thing, please hit me up in the comments below. Thank you all for watching the episode, and I'll see you all next time.